This meeting is being recorded.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 237, June 2nd, 2021, and let me just remind you this meeting is being recorded. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing good. How about you?
I'm all right. So today we have with me Michael Aston.
Howdy.
Matthew Ross.
Hello, everybody.
And Jimmy Trammell.
And that is the thing that the NSA and Clyde have in common.
Yes. This meeting is being recorded.
I'm trying to think. Is there nothing else that isn't the same about Clyde and the NSA? Distrust of other people. I suppose that's one.
No.
Other than that, I can't think of a thing.
No, I'd say, well, the NSA is drunk with power, and I'm definitely not drunk with power because I don't have any power.
Right. I'm with you there. Yeah, but my power is that I can show up to this show every week. Really, I want to show up to this show every week. Really, I do.
For me, it depends on if wine gives me power or not.
Yeah, that's true. You're just drunk. That's a different thing. It's not quite the same. Clyde, Jimmy, Michael, is it over yet?
Yes. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We will catch you all next week.
Is the school year over yet? Please tell me it's over.
My daughter's been out. Her last day was last week.
Nope, we still have this week and next week for us.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it through this thing. I swear, I'm going to. And kids are gross, so I'm not gonna talk anymore about that. So only because they return Chromebooks and they get gross. Yeah.
All the Cheeto dust on it.
I wish it was just Cheeto dust.
You're going to spend all summer cleaning those things, aren't you?
Not all summer. I'm escaping 1 week of this summer to get away.
All right.
We've made a decision to actually escape and try to disappear for a week of sanity rebuilding.
You going to go up to Alaska and work on a fishing boat?
No,
I knew
no.
a couple teachers that would do that every year during the
Really?
summer.
Well, I bet you they were really good at it because they could handle the stress.
Yeah, it was. I think it was more out of necessity because that's a.
Depending where you live, it makes sense.
They wanted more money,
Right?
And that was like one industry that spins up at the beginning of the summer and winds down right before school starts.
It's actually
and it's good money because it's super dangerous and.
Yeah, I could see that being a complimentary job for them that works pretty well for them. Yeah. That's true. It's interesting.
And they didn't have to deal with kids.
No, they don't. And administrators and parents and all those other things, Just people. I don't understand why. The good news is that I don't have to deal with people. I just have to deal with their technology. So it's fine for me. I'm fine. Anything else interesting going on this week?
Nope.
Okay.
We have absolutely nothing to talk about this week.
Well, no. Are you sure? Okay, we can talk. We talk about the news.
The news.
Is there any? I mean, nothing happened this week.
Let's start with.
I don't like news. News is no good.
Okay, well then you probably would hate this first story since the first story is about news. CNN is considering to start their own streaming service, rumored to be possibly named CNN Plus. At least that's what they're internally calling it. This is a streaming service of that will be providing you with their streaming nightly headlines and all that, but also focusing on some of their talent that they have on there to give you some shows based around what they are interested in talking about. Apparently. Sorry, is it anybody else that feel like this is a bad idea?
Well, I'm surprised it took them this long. I mean, this is just another step in their ultimate goal of pumping their propaganda directly into your brain. If they could pump it into your brain while you were sleeping, I don't think they'd be happy there either.
No, I have a problem with any news agency that wants to essentially silo itself, if you know what I mean. Where it's like, oh, we're gonna go. I don't like the idea of a news agency that says, okay, now we're gonna get the people who really love our brand of news, and now we're gonna keep feeding them that same brand of news, so they keep getting more of the exact same brand of news to turn us into what we kind of turned onto already. This is just like turned it up a notch a little bit more. If you ask me, where we all basically
news is already being very generous. I would call it news. Their brand of news.
Fair enough. For example, Fox News is very happy to have news shows and have shows that are both opinion and entertainment shows.
Yes.
If you can put those two, separate those two, you're fine. Nobody's going to have any problem because there's nothing wrong. Actually, I like Fox News shows. They're great. There are some of their opinion entertainment shows I could live without, but that's me.
Yeah.
Same thing with any other news show and actual news. We're telling you what's happening today. I'm great for that. That's not a problem. I don't want to have to pay for it, and paying for it puts me basically into like, okay, this is what I'm choosing, and I don't like that. I would much rather have the ability to pick whatever brand feels like, oh, I'd like to see another side of this kind of thing. I don't like the idea of people basically signing up and getting their version of a news story. I don't like that.
Nope.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
Which is why I will not be subscribing to this.
I was going to say, I can confidently say this is one of the subscription services I will not be joining.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with that too. I mean, a general news channel like CNN, yeah, I think is a bit of a stretch. But now, where I do find an exception, now CNBC has their own subscription service. Matter of fact, I'm considering subscribing to that.
But that is not necessarily news. That's about the market, and that's valuable
different.
information. Yeah. That's like, hey, this is useful information. You can make money with this. And
but then again, you've been paying for CNN forever. CNN isn't over the air. It's not free anywhere.
Yeah,
you have to be a cable subscriber to get it. So no matter what, it's always been siloed. It's just been you've been able to choose which silo.
Exactly, but in that case, you was siloed in the fact that you got the CNN and you got Fox and you got ABC and you got all the other ones available to you to choose of which silo you want to freely switch between them. Even I've had plenty of times where like, I don't want to watch this guy. Let's watch it. That guy. Oh, okay. That's an interesting take from a completely different thing. That's an okay thing. Better than this idea of, hey, if you just love CNN News, here's more CNN News for us to keep on feeding you. CNN News.
Now it doesn't matter who makes it. CNN Plus, 20% more bias.
Well, once upon a time, CNN used to report the news once upon a time. Right. But then we got into this 365-day election cycle. Right.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And then that's when I started tuning out to American news. And now I watch Tiger's show on YouTube for free. Right.
I haven't watched news proper in a long time, except for once in a while, maybe a local station. But I actually used to like watching headline news. Because it was like, hey, in 15 to 30 minutes, we'll give you basically the news of the day, and then we're going to repeat it again.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I actually like that. That means I can no matter what time I start, if I have 30 minutes of kind of paying attention to the TV, I'll get most of what happened in the day today. Okay, great. I can turn it off now. I don't need to see anything else. And it mostly was fact-giving stuff, which was kind of what I wanted. So I don't know if that's what they still do.
Yeah,
But that was-
Tagesschau does that. Of course, you have to speak German to be able to listen to it, but that's exactly what Tagesschau does, which is Tagesschau is just the daily show, is
Okay.
what it translates to, right?
Very cool.
But and they put out an episode every 4 hours, you know. And it's about 15 minutes long, and they just give you the facts, give you the weather in Germany, right? And then that's you know,
It's cold.
I mean, that's where you get
warm.
I mean, if you just want unbiased news, that's where to go get it at, you know, somewhere like that.
Got to go to the Germans, huh? Okay.
But if you want to tune in and listen to who the people on TV are trying to tell you who to vote for, then you can watch CNN or any of those other guys.
And the thing that I've been saying since we started doing this show, I find it sad that I have to go to RT, Russia Today, to find out what's actually going on here. You'll have something happening, but they're like, oh, we're not going to talk about that. So-and-so's dog was mean to this senator, and now everybody's mad, and that's all we're going to talk about, and completely ignore the other stuff that's actually going on that the administration doesn't want you to know about. It's like,
yeah, it's,
but
the system is currently not broken, but definitely really wank.
But yeah, this subscription here, can't wait to miss it.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna just go ahead and get out my old PlayStation 3, and old reliable here, and just gonna go ahead and play some video games. You know,
how long has it been since you turned it on?
Oh, it's been, I don't know, like 14 years. You know,
you haven't turned it on since it was new.
Well, I don't know. It's not, maybe longer than that.
I would say 14 years ago is when it came out.
Okay. Well, no, it's like October of 2013 or something.
Okay. So counting the new update that they're pushing right now, you're gonna have
a new update.
You're gonna have about 15 updates to apply.
Did they ever fix that? I mean, there was always I've never actually owned a PlayStation except for an original PlayStation. But my Xbox 360, I hated using it because I played it like once a month or two, and every time I turned it on, there's an update. And the update takes a while. And like, I just want to play my game.
Okay.
Can't I play my game?
With the PS4, you can, as long as you don't turn it off completely, if you leave it in the standby, then it will download updates in the background, which is important because ever since the PS3, they have a built-in rate limiter on the network speed. So these updates, even if you have gigabit internet and you're not using any of your bandwidth, it will only download this multi-gigabit update at like 100 kilobits per second, and they will not fix that. But 14 years after launch, PS3 just got a new system update.
And that fixes it. I hate these updates that don't tell you what they do. That really bothers me.
Still, that's pretty good support, though, even if it doesn't do all that much. I mean, 14 years later, you're still updating it?
Yeah, essentially what they've been doing is most of these are necessary because the PS3 has a Blu-ray player. Yeah. And Blu-ray has DRM
certificates,
and it requires and anybody who has ever bought a new Blu-ray player and put their disc in and it said, I can't play this, I have to download an update, knows why these updates are actually important. Blu-ray security keys are the right word I was looking for. But but this is the 60th update the console has received since it launched in November of 2006.
I guess that's a fair point. Maybe it's the lawyers that forced them into it. Huh?
There is one other kind of update that really can suck. Not this one, at least I don't think. Is the kind of update that basically cripples the product at the end of its life
Oh,
cycle.
yeah.
That kind of update can never can
Which
go
is
away.
the one they were planning on pushing out in July to remove the store.
Yeah, and they decided maybe that's a bad idea.
But we should add that they only changed their mind in regards to PS3 and PSP. Or sorry, the Vita. They are still shutting down the PSP store in July.
Okay, that's fine.
But
Oh,
yeah,
both of you that care I'm sorry. All right. Fubo TV has been talking about the ability for them to allow you to, through either their phone interface or through, looks like with their Android TV, be able to make bets on the shows that you're watching. They are looks like they're beginning to roll out this concept to a couple of the people out there, and the handful of quiz questions will show up on the screen for you. The example they gave was which team will score first in the second half, and you will win a free year's Fubo's TV service, which is actually worth $65. It's not a bad thing to win. This is them dipping their toe into trying to make it so you can get on the betting and the betting market and making money, trying to figure out what do your legalized gambling on your TV. I don't know if this is something that I'd be interested in doing, but I could see some people getting really into this.
So question there. So you'd win a month's subscription if you won. What would happen if you lost?
you have to buy a month subscription.
Yeah, your subscription ends immediately. You have to buy another subscription to play again.
Yeah.
Insert coin.
Insert
credit card.
We talked back in January, I think it was, about how Fubo was getting into the sports betting, and then immediately after, Dish announced that they were teaming up with DraftKings to do the same thing.
That's right.
Which took I think it hurt Fubo's stock price.
Okay.
Which, I mean, because Fubo's been struggling. Fubo is the one that I mistakenly was talking about last week, where they, they're sports focused, and then last year was a year without sports, and there was no reason to subscribe to Fubo. So they came up with ideas of how can they get out of it, and everybody loves gambling. If you watch TV, and during any sporting events, you'll see the DraftKings commercials and all of those online sports betting things. So clearly everybody's doing it. So yeah, the app, or the updated app is available a little bit sooner than I expected. Like I said, they made this announcement back in January, and it's already being potentially tested on the Roku and Android TV. So I need to check in on my Roku beta, because this is probably part of that.
Well, if it is, he can't talk about it, so
I won't be able to, which is why it's a good thing I don't know yet, because I'll talk about it all I want.
That's right.
Until I read
Darn
that NDA and find out what actually I'm, so I'm currently free, but
I wonder if they'll take Dogecoin.
Well, since Dogecoin is basically going to be worth nothing in about a year, I wouldn't.
That's what they said 4 years ago.
It'll be worth millions in about a year.
Maybe in total millions.
My Dogecoin investment screams it's going way up.
No, I'm sorry, but the fact that the reason why Bitcoin works is because of scarcity, and the fact that there's no scarcity on Dogecoin, I don't see how it works. Also, it's a joke. All right. So if you are hoping to get your Apple TV, watch those Apple TV shows on your Android device, good news! You can now get the Apple TV app on any of your Android devices that is running Android TV version 8.0 Oreo or higher. Unless with a caveat is that if it's one of those OEM devices, they will have to add it themselves to make it available on the system. But most of those, that means our old Mi Box could probably run this app now. Which
does it have Oreo though?
I think it does. I think it's 8.
Okay.
I think it's 9. I think those guys were 9.
Yeah, that might be. It might be. You're right. So this was interesting. The headline on this one is, it's now available on all Android TV devices too, because the earlier yesterday, the first announcement was, hey, it's available on the Shield. And then people realized, oh no, it's available on all Android. They just wanted the emphasis on the Shield.
That's good.
So yeah, if you're an Apple TV subscriber and you've been complaining that you can't get it on Android TV, your wait is over.
And likewise, I have a story here about Zumo now available on the Apple TV platform. That's right, because it's everybody's just getting on everybody else's platforms here. Everybody's having a grand old time, going over, visiting people, using their other platforms to do whatever they want. Zumo, which is the free streaming service from, I believe that's Comcast's streaming service now, is now available as a ad-supported solution for you to watch over 200 channels of free content. Now on your Apple TV platform.
Yeah. And also worth noting that Zumo also announced that they will be adding a whole bunch of exclusive movie titles.
Oh, really? Like
from Magnolia. I'm not familiar with Magnolia.
I feel like I've heard the name, but nothing jumps out at me.
I'm thinking it's one of those indie companies, but I don't know. Or it might be some sort of niche. Let's find out.
Magnolia
if only there was a way to look it up. And don't get confused by Best Buy Magnolia.
Mm-hmm. Man, okay, so there's a bunch of movies here that Ong Bak 2, The Beginning, Double X, I Am Not Your Negro, The ABCs of Death, Lo and Behold, The Eyes of My Mother.
Here you go. No. Magnolia Pictures is Magnolia Pictures is an American film distributor. It is a subsidiary of Mark Cuban and Todd Wagner's 2929 Entertainment. It was, it specializes in both foreign and independent films.
Oh, okay. Well,
I see the logo here and I recognize it. Indie.
Good job, Zumo. Sorry, I don't think I'm interested.
You're not going to watch I Am Not Your Negro?
Or maybe I don't know.
ABCs of Death?
It doesn't jump out at me like, ooh, let's watch that.
No, I know you're totally going to watch Ong Bak 2, The Beginning.
Probably not. Hey, Netflix. I think we talked about this earlier in the year. Netflix has a Play Something button. They were looking at a possibility. I think they were testing it with certain platforms of television. The ability for you to have a button that just picks something for you to play, and just lets you quickly bypass any decisions that you have to make, and just say, pick something for me with the Play Something button. They're now bringing the same Play Something button to Android, and going to be bringing it to iOS soon. So you will be able to take out your phone and just say, play me something. You pick something you think I'll like, and Netflix will just bring it to you. And of course, if your name is Clyde, it will always pick the wrong thing.
It will.
Don't know why.
No, it's because their rating system sucks now, and I don't participate.
I'm sorry, man.
It's okay.
You should start lying to it, like saying, "Oh, I love this." No, I love this.
Because then it would make it completely unwatchable. Right now, it's just going off of what it knows about me from the past, and it's just not making any new decisions.
You need to email Netflix and say, "Hey, can I get a reset?"
They never responded.
I need a button that just says, clear all my decisions so we can start over. I would. You need
No,
you need a
no,
do-over
it would be even worse. I have seen what a new profile looks like.
button.
I am not going into that absolute
Oh.
hell. No.
Okay. No, I don't know how to fix it for you, man.
No, you
I just
can't.
don't know what to
You
say.
can't.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying I'm just leaving it the way it is, and I just don't use Netflix unless I know specifically something's there that I want to see.
You would think that
So
since you've been doing that for so long, it would be picking up that you like this kind of stuff. So, but okay.
Yeah, so they need to have a feature so Clyde can create a Bizarro profile.
Oh, no, I
and-
already have one of those. It's called Amazon. All of the movie party stuff is watched on Amazon, so Amazon thinks I am some sort of
One
monster.
deranged guy.
Yes.
Somebody make that a show title.
Yeah. I mean, I get the value of something like this. I mean, I certainly sat down on a number of occasions and spent the majority of the time that I had planned to watch a show just trying to pick a show. So, you know, when you sit there for 30, 40 minutes flipping through trying to find the show that you want to watch, I get the value of something like this, but I'm kind of with Clyde. Like, I don't feel like the recommendations are going to be good enough that it's going to be something that I want.
And there's going to be a lot of bias there. You're going to get a lot of bias towards stuff they want you to watch as opposed to stuff they think you'll want to watch.
Yeah, we need to find a name for that. What is the name for turning on a streaming service and browsing the catalog as your entertainment? You know, like me and my friend sat down, we just turned on the catalog and we were browsing through it and we like talked about all the shows. Oh, that was such a good go. Don't ever watch that. That was so horrible. Oh, that one was so funny for half an hour or an hour, and go, well, that was entertaining. We just had a good time browsing the catalog.
It's tricky.
Cataloging.
What you described is called socializing.
Well,
See, some people Netflix and chill. I Netflix and yell. And then I end up turning it off and leaving the room.
Yeah, that's another good one. Netflix and yell.
Socializing. I don't understand.
I would like to just put this in there real quick. The one comment on this story, I think, nailed it. He said, even in Idiocracy, the guy sitting on the toilet couch still had a remote to change the channel and pick what he wanted to watch. Congratulations, everybody. We're even dumber now than Mike Judge could have predicted.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Hey, so apparently Viacom CBS did a announcement recently saying that they're also going to do what Netflix did and release a new movie every week. So the new show or movie for you to watch. And one of the things they picked up was a movie that they were going to be sending out to the theaters called what is it
Infinite?
called? Infinite. It's a Mark Wahlberg sci-fi film. I have no idea what it's about. I might like it because, you know, I'm okay with Mark Wahlberg and I like sci-fi, so I'll have to check it out. Anyways, they were planning on releasing this to the theaters, but instead they are skipping the theaters altogether and bringing it straight to your Paramount Plus subscription.
Which is
on
just,
June
I mean,
10th.
that just sounds like a good model for anything with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's some things I like him in, I guess. I don't know. I think it's fine.
He's no Nicolas Cage.
No, he is not, but not many people are. That's hard to, yeah, I don't understand.
And a lot of Nicolas Cage's stuff goes straight to DVD.
That's true. That's very
Nowadays,
true.
yes.
What that poor guy needs a theatrical hit.
No,
He just needs.
he's making money. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're gonna pay me? All right. he goes by the Adam West model. You say yes to everything. It doesn't have to be good. You getting paid? Good enough.
Here's the thing with Nicolas Cage movies. Like, you can pretty much immediately tell if it's going to be a good movie or a bad one. And so you watch it if you think you'll like it, and you don't. if you don't think you're going to like it, and you're probably right. I mean, I've seen a number of his movies that I quite enjoyed, and I have not seen any of his movies that I didn't enjoy. Now, there's a lot of his movies that I haven't watched, though, because I didn't expect to enjoy them. So, I mean, that's the thing is, and he gets paid, and that's what he cares about. He's just doing the job that comes his way.
Of all the bad, they would what would be called bad Nicolas Cage movies, there's not one that I can point to and say that he was the reason it was bad.
This is
Nick, you can watch and you get Nicolas Cage. You're getting
He's a known
exactly
quantity.
what I wanted. The rest of the movie is like absolute madness. I mean, Mandy. I still don't get that movie, but Nicolas Cage was great. I don't know if I liked or even hated Mandy because I don't understand what that movie was, but Nicolas Cage was great. That's all I've got coming out of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch Mandy and somebody please explain it to me.
I'll have to watch it and explain it to you.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
I need. Don't watch it with kids. There is some it is really graphic. I don't understand that movie.
Okay. Well, you know, some movies take
I
several.
couldn't even
viewings
tell
for
you
to
what
understand.
happened. That's how messed up that movie is. I don't
All
even
right,
know
well-
what the story was. Okay, go.
All right. So we're gonna talk about streaming less. That's right. We're going to stream a lot less to your system now because Microsoft Flight Simulator has had an update that has taken its initial size. You know, when you would install Microsoft Flight Simulator, it would take up 170 gigabytes of your hard drive. And that was a big, long install. Now it's been shrunk down to 83 gigabytes. That's right. It's about half,
Well,
which means...
so it's back to the original install. So for those of you that went through the pre-install waiting for launch day like I did, the initial install was 100 gigs. And then when the game went live, there was an update that was required that was an additional 75 or 80 gigs. But yeah, so those of you that already have it installed, this is of no benefit to you. The 10 of you out there that never installed it, congratulations. You only have to install 83 gigs now.
I told you this is the game I want to stream, but nobody's doing it yet. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of streaming I could do before
There's
I have
a
to download
reason
even 83
that when I
gigs.
stopped playing it, I uninstalled it. Most games, I leave them installed because I can always go back.
You uninstalled that one because you needed the space, man.
Exactly.
It's like
It was taking up 200 gigs for a
I
thing
feel
that
you,
I'm
man.
not going to use.
I feel you, man, because I've played World of Warcraft and installed the beta next to it because, you know, it does take up twice as much space, and it's a lot of space.
But also this, it's worth noting that this is probably necessary because they want, I think they wanted to port this game to the new Xboxes.
Yeah, they've been planning on making that launch to the new system, and of course, hard drive space is a premium on those things.
Especially, is it the PlayStation or the Xbox where you can't play the stuff that's on external storage?
That's the PlayStation.
Oh, okay. I imagine this 80 gig game, it takes up the entire internal drive, and in order to play anything else, you have to move nearly 100 gigs over before you can move that.
Hey, all we gotta say is we got fast connections to hard drives now. They're SSDs. Thank goodness for that, because oh well. Hey, so if you have a Denon and Martinez, is it Martins?
Marantz.
Marantz.
Yeah.
Wait, see. Okay, if you have a Denon and Marantz receiver, the last couple of years, you might have been heard about an update that they provided that gave them HDMI 2.1 capability. Apparently, that update came with some bugs in it, so they're trying to work out But if you are an owner of an older one, maybe one that's since like 2018 or so.
Yeah. So if you paid $2,000 to $4,000 for your Denon or your Marantz receiver a couple years ago, guess what? You got to buy a new one for another $4,000, right? That what you're going to say?
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
I was going to say that if you have so they offered an update for those that, and I don't know if it was like a factory update. You had to go into that. It apparently was an extra hardware update to make it work.
Yeah.
So they did have to send it in. But if you have an even older one, one that's as far back as their 2018 flagship line, you can spend $600, send it in, and you can get those older ones updated to use to get the HDMI 2.1 compatibility. This is Denon actually offering an ability for you to take your older receiver and upgrade it for a reasonable price. They still offer these $4,000, $5,000 receivers for
They
new
would
ones.
prefer you just buy a new $4,000 receiver.
But if you have a not too old one, you can get the update for a reasonable price. Which
yeah, but
is
what's a
good
couple
deal.
extra grand?
Again, those people who have extra money that they don't know what to do with. That's what they're there for.
This is actually something that I'm glad to see that they're doing. This is something that several companies used to do in the pro audio market, where let's say your Digitech 2112, the upgrade to the 2120 Artist it's same chassis. They were just different colors. The board was different. So you could theoretically upgrade your 2120 or 2112, make it a 2120. It may not look like a 2120, but
It's got the same hardware.
It's got the same hardware.
Cool.
You replace like a circuit board or a chip or something. And I mean, because like we talked about last week with my Yamaha receiver that's now 3 years old looks it's the same chassis as the new one, the new $3,000 one. So yeah, sending it back to them, and then they just basically replace the motherboard or with the new upgraded 8K one. Perfectly reasonable, and yeah, I think $600 is a better option than spending $42.99 for a new one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a story here about Apple Podcasts, the subscription service. We talked about it previously, the fact that they are coming out with it, which will allow you to pay for a exclusive kind of feed of a standard podcast through the Apple system. Apple, of course, gets their cut, which is something we've talked about before. But looks like Apple has delayed this new subscription service until sometime in June. It was supposed to be coming out in May. And not mentioned in this article, but I've heard elsewhere that apparently there was a little pushback about that maybe this is not what necessarily all the podcasters want to do with their stuff. So interesting that they got pushed back. Don't know why. You have any theories?
Same reason I don't want to be behind that paywall.
You think it's money? It's all about that. It's all about
money.
that 30% and 15% after that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, how much does
I was gonna ask,
Patreon take?
What does Spotify charge?
Exactly. Yeah, well, Spotify has their own streaming service too, and I bet you they have a similar pricing model or whatever.
But I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say, what does it cost to subscribe to an average podcast?
For me, nothing, because the average podcast, I hit the
Right.
subscribe button, but
Well,
it
but
costs
for
me
these that are out there in the market to subscribe, to pay money,
Right.
what does Spotify charge?
I do not know. I know that some of these are like you pay for the service and then you get the extra podcast. I think that's how Spotify did it, where if you paid for the Spotify service, you got the premium podcasts as well, like the Joe Rogans.
Mhm.
But an individual paying per podcast, I think they're working on something to do like that. Just because Apple announced it, like they quickly announced their own, they're going to do, but I don't know if it's been come out yet, so I'd have to look into that.
Yeah. I mean, interesting, I guess, but just like everybody else, right? I mean, we're all used to getting podcasts for free and listening to the occasional commercial that they might run during the podcast, right?
And the idea behind it is either you would get a version of the podcast without commercials, or you would get a version of the podcast maybe with an exclusive piece of information, at like a special or something like that. So yeah, it's the same as the Patreon model. Really, quite frankly, it's just it feels different, and for having to pay a monthly fee through Apple.
So to answer your earlier question, you asked how much does Patreon take?
Charge. Yeah,
It's 5%.
no, it's not bad at all.
I mean, there are other fees, like if someone pays us in pesos, then
It's gotta convert
we pay the conversion fee, which is like 2% or something like that. But yeah, I mean, PayPal's gonna do the same thing. Anybody's gonna charge you for the convenience.
Well, I mean, there's bank fees that they have to pay to take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
to take payments, right?
Hey,
So
fi-
I mean,
well,
they
no,
gotta-
they
gotta
don't,
cover
because
that.
they're passing that fee on to us. We're paying those fees. Just
somebody
like
has to pay it.
just like the DMV does, which is actually illegal. But
Wow.
yeah, I brought that up to the DMV recently, because they
Did
go,
you
oh,
get
if you're paying with a card, then you have to pay this extra fee, the blah blah blah. I was like, that's the fee that Visa charges you guys. Yeah, that's illegal. It is literally law. You cannot pass that fee on to the customer. That is your fee for the right to
Use a credit
process Visa. Accept.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is
That poor
literally
guy.
a law that, and the government is like, we don't have to follow that. We're above the laws.
That poor guy behind the counter is probably going, "Oh no, not one of these guys." All right. So there was an announcement. Warner Media and Disney, Discovery, not Disney. Warner Media and Discovery are going to make a merger, right?
Yeah.
I want to know, what do you guys think the name could be? What do you think is a good name for this thing?
War Discovery.
Or Discovery. Okay. I was thinking like Discovery Bros.
Disner.
That's close to Disney, but
Disner.
no.
Yeah.
It
Disner. Disner Bros.
The Disney Channel. Yeah, I could see that. The Disney Channel.
UPN.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's Paramount. Wrong
No,
company.
yeah, that's the wrong. One. Mythbusters. Yeah. So you would think they might come out with a name, right? So they
Ooh.
decided on a name.
Warner Brother Max. Oh wait, no, this is MGM, right? Not Warner Brothers.
No. This is Warner Brothers and
This is
Discovery.
Warner
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
MGM
MGM's moving to the Amazon.
That's right.
Save the rainforest. Yeah, this is Warner Bros. They're the Discovery Bros. Yeah.
They're calling it Warner Brothers Discovery, which
So what will we ever find out what the Warner Brothers Discovery was?
I have no idea.
Did they discover that they actually had a sister named Dot?
It was the stuff that dreams are made of, though.
I hear
Yeah,
Warner
they
Bros.
discovered.
Discovery, and I think Mario Bros. Odyssey. So
Oh, actually, this goes back to the recent reboot of Animaniacs, because in the first episode they discovered that the Warner Brothers had been locked in the water tower this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
People forgot they were up there.
I
That
didn't.
was the discovery. That was the Warner Brothers
That's the
discovery.
discovery. Okay, gotcha.
They discovered that the Warner Brothers were locked in the water tower.
We'll see if this actually takes place. I mean, we'll see. I have no idea, but if it does, apparently the name is going to be Warner Brothers Discovery, which, if you ask me, is the most unimaginative name I've ever heard.
I want Disc Bros.
I mean, it's
Disc Bros. Yes, there it is. Disc Bros.
CNN Plus is not particularly imaginative either, since there's like 16 something plus services already out there.
I mean, CNN is part of this package, right?
No, man, I don't know. Good question.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
CNN is owned by Warner Brothers.
So Bad Weave
I'm
says
pretty sure.
Bad Weave says that the real Warner Brothers discovery is that they suck at naming things. See, we always thought it was AT&T that was bad.
Yeah.
But
No, AT&T is fine, but they just all they do is
it was the Warner side that was bad at the naming.
Okay. So
Well, maybe it was them that came up with the AT&T TV.
yeah, it's probably the same guy. You're probably right. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, Vizio made some announcements, a bunch of new TVs and a couple of sound bars. I'm going to go ahead and summarize here. We got an M series and a P series. These guys are they're I don't know what you would call them. Their lower end.
So one's
series.
for your mom and one's for your pa.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that the
Mom.
M series is their middle tier, and the P series is their upper
Premium.
I thought the
tier or
P
something.
series would be the absolute low end. The one.
No,
that-
it's their upper middle tier. So it's a pretty good TV. They have like an elite thing. I don't remember what their elite line is called, but they have one that's really super nice.
the P series isn't number
All
2.
about that. Yeah.
No, it's number 4, but I
Oh.
understand what you're saying.
The P series is the most expensive.
Correct. And so it starts with the D series, which is their lower end models, the V series, which is their value models, and then they have the M series in the middle, and the P ones for I don't know.
Connoisseurs. People that are willing to pay for that. Some
Rabbit
people are
Magic has
willing
it
to
right.
pay for the P.
P is number 1, as Rabbit does mention, so he's right. No, but there's the different new features coming out to some of these. They're getting some variable frame rates built into these. Some of the free sync and the ultra free sync settings available for these higher end TVs that'll give you your connection to your computers and your PlayStations to have that ability to do that variable frame rate and free sync for you. The quantum dots are available on the upper end systems as well, and they also have a couple of new sound bars. A couple of them are able to do the Dolby Atmos if you go ahead and go with the higher end models. So, and also apparently they've designed. This is kind of cool if you ask me. They've designed the TV stand on some of these models so it's adjustable, so you can actually raise and lower the TVs, which is awesome. And if you do the sound bars, they tend to connect to the feet to the TV. So even if you put it up on the wall, you can use those to just hold the sound bar, which I don't know, it seems to be like a cool idea.
Proprietary for the win?
Yes, but that's true of all things until somebody makes
most
it
things
standard.
proprietary have a benefit, but yes.
Yeah, it's a benefit to that vendor.
Yeah.
The only way we get standards is one of two ways. So way number 1, somebody creates a standard and everybody adopts it.
Yep.
Or way number 2, somebody makes a proprietary thing and everybody copies it. So it's one way or the other. It's okay. All right, here's an interesting story. Clyde has often said how he is unhappy with how Spotify has been unable to provide him with good feeds of his interesting music. And this is a new feature called Only You. It's designed to provide stuff that would make sense for your weird tastes. It's got some features like, you happen to always start with this kind of music and then quickly switch to that kind of music at certain times of the day. It's able to notice what kind of music might be interesting to you during, maybe during time, notices patterns of what you're doing. It's basically trying to, there's something called your audio birth chart, which is the worst name ever. It covers the artists you listen to most over the last 6 months. How does that have anything to do with?
Oh, they've been
birth?
doing that forever, though.
Anyways, this is just them trying to find that music that is much more focused on your likes and and kind of thing.
So let me just clarify. Spotify not giving me the right music isn't the issue.
Oh
no, Spotify's great because I have curated it over the last 10 years. It knows what I like. It makes custom daily playlists that are great. And they'll have several different genres. What I've been complaining about is getting to those playlists is becoming impossible because they're burying it under podcasts that I don't want. They're making it very hard to get to the music. And yeah, so no, Spotify's great. It's like Netflix used to be. Because it has a very good idea of what I like and what I don't like. Although Spotify did take away the thumb down that used to be that was when I would listen to their creations for me. I'd be able to thumb stuff down and it would know, okay, don't play this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, they did something about a week ago, and their algorithm got really weird. Because I got a playlist that started out with, like, black metal. I never listened to black metal. And then it went to, like, the Divinals. They've been really pushing the Divinals on me. On every playlist, they've been putting in the Divinals. I don't like the Divinals. I've never liked the Divinals. Most people don't know who the Divinals are unless you say, when I think about you, I touch myself. That is the only thing anybody knows the Divinals for. But, and then it went from that to something else. And then it went to like death metal. And I'm just like, what is going on? Because normally it's all centered around a genre. And this was all over the place. Their algorithm, had some sort of bad day.
I'm just curious, Clyde, do you have a friend who's messing with you?
I doubt it. See, I even go as far as I have multiple Spotify accounts because if people are over and we're playing music, I don't want their music or the stuff we will play for the party
ending up on yours.
Screw up my algorithm.
This is a real problem every single streaming service should know about, because I've had people go to, right in the car and, let me play my song.
We need an incognito or a party mode or something where you turn off the history and just say ignore until I tell you to start, because I don't want you to create playlists that. Yeah.
And also the party mode, maybe the party mode includes just lean slightly more towards the well-known music as well, Don't go off the beaten path too much. You do some cool stuff as you like, but stuff people like. It's party, man.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea of the playlists my daily playlist, they make 6 of them. Currently, 2 of them are metal. At least 1 is punk, 1 is 90s rock, and 1 is like EDM. That's what Spotify knows about me. And that's like 5 of them. And then 1 of them just kind of, that's the constant. There's always at least 2 different genres of metal. And then,
cool. All right. Netflix is coming out with a new interactive series for us to watch if we wish to. And this one will calm your mind. Netflix is working with the guys from Headspace to make a interactive show that will help you find inner peace and help you with mindfulness. That's what it's called, Headspace. Unwind your mind. It will allow you to find out if you're stressed or angry or unhappy, and we'll do whatever it can in a 20-minute episode to help you breathe in and meditate and find inner peace.
I'm pretty sure that I would want to slap it as much as I want to slap you right now.
This thing looks terrifying. Do you have to be like high to get into
No idea.
this?
No idea. There are people who love this kind of mind space stuff, and that's their jam, and great. That's good for them. But I could tell that most of you are not interested. So
if you look at the official trailer down below, the screenshot, that dude does not look happy to be buried. He looks downright pissed off.
I've watched the trailer. That is actually a joke at the end of the whole thing.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. He does look pissed off because he got buried in sand.
As rightfully so.
You know, when I'm at the beach and I get buried in sand, I am actually quite relaxed until they cover my head, and then I'm not relaxed. Actually, that sucks.
We learned from a documentary a couple weeks ago that you shouldn't bury someone in the sand because then you become susceptible to the sand shark attacks.
Oh, that's horrible.
That happened right in the beginning of the movie. There was a dude that was buried up to his head, and sand shark ate everything from his head down.
That's horrible.
Don't do it. Don't
That's
do
Bad
it.
experience.
Just don't do it.
Okay.
That guy never did it again.
Well,
First time, last time. All right. HBO Max, we talked about it and last week that it was coming out and that it's going to be ad supported. It is now officially out. We have a little bit of the $10 ad supported model. We have a little bit more information. In particular, they have said that they are going to be providing you this $10 a month service without any of the movies that go to theaters right away. But when they return to HBO, they will be there. So if you won't get that initial run through the movie stuff. It does, in fact, have any HBO's created programming, such as Game of Thrones or The Sopranos. All of those are going to be completely ad-free. And if you do get ads, you're going to be limited to 1080p. Remember, you've been watching 720p this whole time and you didn't notice until now. But also, if you do get ads, they're going to be limiting it to 4 minutes worth of ads per hour. Actually, that's not bad. That is enough to make me actually consider this. If I can go, it's ads for 4 minutes per hour at the beginning of the show or at the end of the show. Actually, not bad. I'd consider it.
That doesn't count the ads that they already put at the beginning of everything. So if you watch any HBO thing, it starts out with an ad, like at least 2 ads for other HBO shows. So those aren't counted into this 4 minute. I guarantee it.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it's $5 a month. Come on.
Yeah,
$5 a month.
I pay more
it's
than that.
ridiculous to
I
me.
pay more than $5 a month to get ad free on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I who's not going to pay the extra $5?
That's fair.
If you really struggle to find that $5, then start a podcast and a Patreon. You can definitely find 5 people to support you. We were able to do that, so anybody can. And then you can pay for your ads.
Yeah.
To not be there.
Wait a second. Are we supplementing your HBO Max subscription? I'm just curious.
No,
Maybe.
but I no, he's getting it from AT&T free via someone else that is also on this show.
We also got one. Bad Weave does much. That there's also one more limitation. There is no offline viewing of the show. So if you were using the HBO Max and you were doing the download of your for offline viewing, that is not a feature you get anymore. I did mention the no day and date releases, but thanks for the reminder. Then last but not least, we have a $5 per month Paramount Plus Essentials plan. Also an ad supported version coming June 7th. There must be a whole kind of research on what people are willing to pay, and they're realizing $5 is a big enough difference for enough people to do this, because this is also $5 less per month. This is going to be coming out on June 7th. It's going to be able to let you stream unlimited with stream shows up to 30,000 episodes of movies and originals. You got NFL and CBS Champion League Live on there. You're going to get the 24/7 national news with CBSN. And you're going to get commercials in there. So $50 a year or $5 a month for the Essentials plan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ads make the world go round, right? I guess maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that I can imagine. Well, personally, you're right. I think I would pay the extra $5 to get rid of ads, but I could see people saying, "Oh no, I'm going to save $50 a month by buying all my stuff with ads," and I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, bad we're switching to a new P plus plan. There's just not enough P in your life. You got to get the P plus. All right, but hey, we are now at the point in the show where we like to say thank you to the people that actually matter to us, the people that make this show happen every week for the last almost 5 years. We're coming up on 5 years in a couple weeks, right?
Oh my goodness!
Wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're saying why, well, it's because of the patrons. Because the patrons saw some sort of value in what we do and were willing to support us financially every month without fail. I mean, we are the second day of the month, which means those bills are being processed right now. If they haven't already, they will be shortly. And we say thank you.
Thank
You
you.
guys, awesome. If you would like to be one of those awesome people that support this show, head over to patreon.com/the Squad and give whatever you feel is necessary. Okay, so should we get into some rants and some raves? Dun, 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 dun. All right. Rants, raves, what do we got?
You want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. So I didn't. I spent most of this weekend being lazy on the couch, playing video games. which
Living
was
the American
great.
dream.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. Breath of the Wild DLC got pretty far into that and really enjoyed that very much so. I'm fine, like I've never gotten around to doing it, so I'm finally getting around to it. So the thing I wanted to just mention and say you should go out and see if it's your kind of thing is two YouTube channels. One called Stuff Made Here.
Yeah.
I don't watch that one a lot, but recently he came out with one where he made a lock, and he just gotta start building, trying to make himself a cool different little lock. And so he thought he made a pretty cool one. It's pretty impressive and pretty hard to pick. And so he decided that he would try to send it off to a fairly famous lockpicker on the internet called the Lockpicking Lawyer. I don't want to ruin what happens. It's always fun to watch what I see from both those channels. I actually watch a lot of Lockpicking Lawyer recently. It's wonderful to watch him as he does his lockpicking skills. It makes me like, oh, dang, that looks way too easy. But I'm sure it's mostly has lots of practice and skill versus. So, but anyways, there's a one recently from Stuff Make Here, 2 unpickable locks for the Lockpicking Lawyer. Start with that one. It links directly to the second one where the Lockpicking Lawyer receives it and does his thing with them. Don't spoil any of that for you. All I gotta say is it was a great, good 30 minutes of my life. Enjoyed watching those 2 videos. Please recommend.
So I think the new one now is a follow-up to one he did a year ago.
6 months ago he made one lock, and he said, and then he took 6 months and developed a second lock, and then he sent both to Lockpicking Lawyer, and then both those locks show up to Lockpicking Lawyer.
Yeah, because I remember it was last summer that he had one that the Lockpicking Lawyer worked on. But
there's a point in the Lockpicking Lawyer where he says, and also I could see that he did this thing, and it's a good thing you did that because I totally would have done that. It's like, Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I've watched several of his videos, and I would say my favorite is still the basketball hoop that moves to make sure that you always hit it.
I don't think I've seen that one, but I have seen the one where
Unless you're his wife. So he always programs this stuff to
for him.
to disregard his wife. Anybody else walks up, it tracks and it will move. The basket will move.
It
to make
recognizes
that
her, and
no matter, and when it recognizes her, it moves away. So you can't. There's no way. Even if she walked up to it, try to dunk it, it'll move out of the way.
that's evil.
Yeah.
No, man, that's great. No, I saw the one. The other one was when he made the pull cue that would make those amazing shots remotely. Let him play with against remote players with
Yeah, he also did a self-adjusting golf club recently with the same, basically the same general idea as the basketball hoop, so that it analyzes your swing and it makes adjustments so that no matter how bad you swing, it always hits it straight.
Nice,
which I could definitely use.
Yeah.
Although he did it on an iron. I don't have problems with irons. It's my
fix my slice.
driver.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But all right, Mike.
I haven't replaced the Alone show. I guess I did watch a couple episodes of Running Wild with Bear Grylls. That was somewhat enjoyable. That's fun. I like Alone better, but it's fun. But I have been reading a book, so I'll throw this out there. I was kind of late to the Witcher franchise. I started on the Witcher 3 video game, which was very, very good. One of my favorite games of all time. And then I saw the Witcher show on Netflix, and I assumed that the parts of the show must have been seen in the first couple of movies, but they are actually apparently pretty close and true to the book. Mm-hmm. So if you've seen the Witcher TV show, you should definitely pick up The Last Wish, which is the first book in the series. And I'm only about a quarter of the way through it now, 130, 140 pages in or something, but it's really good. Very well written, really enjoyable. Starting to understand what's going on. There's a little bit of weird kind of timing with the way that he kind of jumps through time a little bit in the series, which they actually do in the show, which you also kind of don't understand until you've watched a couple episodes.
Try the entire first 3 quarters.
Maybe that's true. And I think, that helped me understand what was going on in the book, why it seemed to be jumping back and forth. It was about 4 chapters in when I finally understood that that's what was happening in the book as well. So it's but anyways, it's really good. If you like to read fantasy, especially, pick it up. The Last Wish. It's by, I think, is it Polish? Maybe a Polish guy. So I can't even remotely pronounce his name.
All right.
So yeah, it's like Andrzej. Yeah, that's his first name. So I can't even get his first name, let alone his last name.
So let me ask you, who's better looking, Weird Mustache Superman or The Witcher?
I think The Witcher is pretty cool. I really enjoy him in the show. It's Sepkowski is his last name. Actually, his last name is easier to say than his first name. But anyways, yeah. I really enjoyed the TV series, and I think that Henry Cavill does a phenomenal job in it, and I look forward to watching season 2 and whatnot. So,
okay,
I'm actually honestly a huge fan of Henry Cavill. Everything I've seen him, everything he's done very well.
I
It doesn't
rather-
mean every movie has been a good movie, but he has done it very well.
I rather enjoyed The Witcher, which says a lot, because that I don't have any ties to that world. I didn't play any of the games. I didn't read any of the books.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. Jimmy.
Yeah, so over the long weekend, I watched a couple of movies. One was called Army of the Dead.
Heard
That
some
was
things about
a
that.
on Netflix is where it was at. Zombie movie. Hence, you'd probably guess that by the name. The setting is in Las Vegas, so Clyde might remind you a lot of CES.
Hmm?
But
Well, Mike wasn't there this year when I was
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and it was
yeah,
Zombie
well,
Land.
Clyde.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, I mean, classic zombie movie. As far as zombie movies go, yeah, it's probably as good as any of the rest of them I've seen. So worth watching.
Was there anybody? I know Dave Bautista's in that movie, but was there anybody in the movie that anybody would know, or was it just a bunch of no names? I wouldn't even call Dave Bautista like he's kind of a no name.
Yeah, he's a B player. Dave Bautista is, and I think there was one other guy in there that was maybe also a B player along that same line, and I can't even remember the guy's name now. But and he was the guy, the Asian guy who was kind of funding the whole thing. He's also a B player. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah. I'm looking through the list right now. The only name in there that I recognize is Tig Notaro.
Yeah, and maybe
The
that's him.
comedian.
That's who it is. Yeah, that's him.
That's her.
And then we watched another movie on HBO Max. This was an Angelina Jolie movie. Those Who Wish Me Dead was the name of the movie. The storyline was pretty good and all. Yeah, it kind of got you into the story a little bit. Didn't end all that well. As a matter of fact, I'll quote my wife at the end of the movie. Is that it? So it didn't end all that well. It just kind of ended abruptly, right? And I mean, I guess there wasn't anything more to tell, but I mean, apart from the ending, that all the rest of it was pretty good, right? It had some good scenes in it, but not a great movie. But if you like Angelina Jolie, I mean, she did her usual bits, right? She's a pretty good actress, and her bits were pretty good, but the story just wasn't, just a little flat on the story. Yeah. So those were the two movies I watched. Just those two.
All right. Well, last week, or I guess over the last week, I watched two series finales for two of my favorite shows. The first one was Last Man Standing. Finally wrapping it all up after like 10 seasons.
Oh, they finally finished it, huh?
Yeah. They did a pretty good job of the whole last episode was them dealing with his truck getting stolen. The truck that was prominently, he purchased basically at the beginning of the series. It was like one of the first episodes. He bought that truck. The truck got stolen, and then they're going through the grief. And then you realize, every time they mention the truck, they're actually talking about the show. The one thing I liked about that show is they're very self-referential. Like they're always making Buzz Lightyear jokes, and
It's a great show. I
loved
have
it.
not watched this season yet, so
it was a good season. It was a
up.
good finale. Started off weird, but they did a time jump into basically 3 years into the future from now. because of they wanted to do like be completely post-pandemic, leave that and not have that really coloring the story.
Right.
I think they did it well. They resolved it. I mean, the best was when Tim the Toolman Taylor came to town, and they hung out. That was surreal and awesome. But yeah. Also, I watched the final episode of Future Man. They did an okay job. They did an okay job of this. Last season was a little wonky, but they did an okay job of tying up the loose ends but yeah. So if you were watching Future Man, finish it. just finish it.
Sounds like you're sad, and now you're gonna have to find new stuff to watch.
I mean, the stuff I watch is always ending. I have a feeling that the best game show that they've launched in 10 years has already been canceled, which was The Hustler.
I've seen that.
That show was awesome. I noticed there was 8 episodes, and there hasn't been any more since like a couple months ago. And I'm hoping it didn't get canceled because that show was genius.
It's a good show.
It was.
I actually that is a show I really I think, and today's generation can enjoy it because it's Among Us.
Well, and that's the thing is that was something my daughter and I would watch together. So I mean, there would be a couple episodes when she'd be over. There'd be a couple episodes on Hulu that we haven't watched. So we were watching what's the mini golf one that I keep talking about, but now I can't think of the name. But and The Hustler. But yeah, I think it was canceled, and that makes me sad because I'm a huge fan of Craig Ferguson.
Guess what? The series was renewed for a second season, which is set to premiere on June 17th, 2021. That's this month.
Good. Yes. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Craig Ferguson is one of my favorite people on TV. He was literally the only late night show I have ever spent any time watching. I would TiVo his show every night and eventually catch up.
And
like
he's
binge.
great as the Hustler. He's great.
Oh,
as the
absolutely.
Hustler.
And the show would be, I don't think the show would be half as good if it was anybody else.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing about Holy Moly, that show is great because of the commentators. And it I mean, yeah, watching people get beat up while trying to play mini golf is awesome, but if it wasn't for the commentators, there was an entire episode where Rob Riggle was talking about Uranus. Because one of the holes that he supposedly designs is rings around Uranus, and they got in so many Uranus jokes in like a 5-minute period on a Disney show. And that right there is, I mean,
comedy gold.
Shows how amazing that show is. But yeah, season 3 should be starting here pretty soon. And Bad Weave, I got to attend a taping of the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson back in, what did it say, 2011 or it was late 2010. Yeah. That was so much fun. So much fun. But I never appeared, you never saw me on camera.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
But all right.
Camera two.
They were like, keep that guy.
Hand left.
Nope,
hand left. We don't want that guy in the shot.
Yeah. Jeff told me to shut up. And that's not a joke. I was laughing loud. But Okay. On that note, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We will be back next week, and you can again bask in our splendor. That is if you're watching us live. And if you're not, why not? We're here live on Twitch every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central.
But Clyde, what if I don't have time to watch it every Wednesday night?
Well, you should make time.
Oh, but what if I want to like pay attention maybe while I'm listen to it while I'm driving or something like that?
Fine, you can get the podcast.
Cool. Where can I get the podcast?
Everywhere.
Yay! Everywhere.
Oh, except on the Apple subscription service. You have to go to old school Apple, whatever they call it.
It's called Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Whatever they call it. Crytunes.
You could possibly go and watch us on YouTube too, right?
Yeah, you could. And you probably should. That's where you get past episodes. Because if you want to watch us live, you go to the Twitch. If you want to watch us later, you go to the YouTube. If you want to listen to us whenever it eventually gets released, then podcast.
And if you want,
but if you're a patron, you will get the podcast like within hours of the show ending.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. We're going to vote on some titles, which we will just do in the post show.
Post show. You guys who are listening to this after the fact, you already know what title we have. Hope you've enjoyed.
Huh. All right. See everybody later. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.